Okay, well, let's go ahead and start the meeting. First of all, I want to welcome everyone here to the Townhall meeting. It's really exciting. We look forward to it. Earlier this afternoon, we had a full audience, and tonight we're hoping to see more people come. It is good to see different faces. And of course, you have different groups. Sometimes you're in one, and they have a different dynamic compared to another. But I think that's still good because in our community, there's such diversity. So it's good to kind of get a pulse and a feel for everyone, and from all four corners, we'll say, in all the different walks of life. So we are going to be recording. We'll have a live stream to Facebook, and also be on YouTube. Is the link going to be sent? We already did. Okay, we already sent out the link for YouTube, so there will be people that will be following us on Facebook, and you can also look at it on YouTube. Kelly will be writing down any notes of anything that we feel is important to remember. Shelly, where's Shelly? Oh, there. Okay. So do you mind maybe giving a quick explanation about cart services and the loop system? Do you want me to come up? So remember, we have our interpreters. We're thankful that they're coming, or they come to support us and everything. But if you have any questions or comments, please make sure you mention your name first. Just want to make sure everybody knows who's speaking. So do you want Shelly to come up?
Okay, so this room is equipped with a hearing loop, and if you go into your T4 program with your cochlear implants or hearing aids, you'll hear a lot better. Then we also have card here, and it's up on the screen, but you can also go to that link over there and click on live, and you can get it on your phone too. Any questions about the hearing loop or card?
All right, thank you. And to inform you, Shelly is our hard of hearing specialist. She works with us here at the center. She's a great team. We have, of course, different groups of different people, right? We have the deaf, we have the hard of hearing, and again, there's varieties of different people in each group. So some people have lost their hearing as youth, later in life, all kinds of different situations. So anyway, so again, welcome everyone. If you have any comments or questions, I'd like to remind you again to mention your name first. You don't have to come up. You can stay in your seat, and Trent will be able to mirror sign for those who are signing, and I'm sure we'll be able to speak to those who are using sign language. All right. All right. The most important thing we want to talk about tonight is housekeeping. Right? So Jennifer, I would mind explaining that really quickly. All right, so basically, welcome. We're happy to have you here. And if, of course, we have a lot of people, I want to make sure you understand if there are emergencies, the exits are right here, to your left and also to your right. Or you can go out the doors here and take a left to go outside the building. If you need to use the restrooms, outside the doors and to the right, down the hallway, there's the men's and women's restrooms. There's also a drinking fountain down there, and also the filter water that can fill your cups. What was it? Food. Oh, right, food. We cannot have food or open drinks in this room. So water is okay, but just not other drinks, like sodas, coffee, that kind of thing. We want to make sure that we maintain this room well, especially because we have the loop system here. Also, yeah, actually, it's okay. Oh, and kind of saying also, we want to remind you that we will have refreshments, but that'll be at the end of our meeting. If you're starving, just bear with us. We'll have the refreshments afterwards. We again wanted to wait because we don't want food being brought into the room. Now, I'm diabetic, so I have like little technical, they're kind of like snacks to help me. That's fine. We just don't want people gathering fruits, vegetables, making little sandwiches, salads, whatever it might be, bringing that in here. So, anyway, hope you do it. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay. So when you first came in, you got that little raffle ticket. Take care of that. Don't crumple it up. Don't tear it up. Keep it safe, because at the end we're going to have a raffle. Right? You all excited about that? I'm sure. We're going to have some prizes, and Pamela is going to explain a little bit more about that later. But it is important. We also want to mention and give thanks to our sponsors, our proud sponsors that are helping us with this event. We have Sanderson Video Relay Service, Interwest Interpreting, 5-Star Interpreting Services, and ASL Communication. They have contributed with gift cards, and that's what we'll be raffling off at the end of this meeting. So hold on to those tickets. Oh, right, so Morgan just reminded me that Sorensen is, they provided the refreshments. So thank you, Sorensen, for that. So in the afternoon of that town hall meeting, we kind of had to rearrange some things after that first experience. So hopefully we'll still be able to talk about as much things, or as many things as we can touch on every one of these items on the agenda. So first of all, I want everyone to think about why we're here. We're here at this town hall meeting. Who are we? We're a shared community. We have DSDHH, the Division of Services for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. We have our mission statement that we're going to show. Okay, so here's our mission statement. And this mission statement defines who we are. As a community, we have deaf, we have hard of hearing, we have deaf blind. We also include their families, right? Our allies, our friends. I think it's really important we have these connections, these partnerships. And also we learn from each other. We can teach each other all kinds of different things. We want to have equality. Many people have had experiences of oppression outside in the world, and when we work together, we can support each other to develop that equality and more awareness. I think that leads to being inspired and leads us to greatness. We can be inspired to do many wonderful things, just like anyone else. So anyways, I just want you to think about that. I want that to be a little torch that we have burning inside of us we can really think about and live on. We also want to recognize, as far as this town hall meeting, of course, it requires a lot of planning. So we developed a committee. We want the community members, if you would mind, please standing up. We have Morgan here, Ron in the back, Pamela in the back. Where's Shelley? Where's Shelley? Disappeared again. And then Mary Beth as well. Okay, Mary Beth. So we had the 5 members in the committee, and they were the ones that planned everything. We want to make sure this all worked out, so we applaud them. Also, the DSDHH management team and staff, we want to mention them as well. Please stand up. Thank you. You may now be seated. Now, of course, these are my key players. Our staff are so important. Who are staff members here today with us? So the members raising their hands, they're all our staff members here at the Sanderson Center. And also we have DWS leadership, which can include USOR. We have Sarah Brenner with us. She is my supervisor. So, Sarah. We'll learn a little bit more about her a little later. But again, I want to thank everyone for coming. That is important for us. DSDHH depends on these relationships. Team building, these partnerships. We have the Utah Association for the Deaf, the USDB, the Utah Schools for the Deaf and Blind, UTRID, the Utah Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf. Different agencies like Vocational Rehabilitation, Kelly, she works for VR. We also have the Blind Center, DSBDI. We have Utah Relay. They help with all kinds of different assistive listening devices, and they work with us in Southern Utah as well. Anybody else? Oh, Sego Lily, right? Sego Lily, the Center for the Abused Deaf. My wife, Stephanie, she works with Sego Lily. She's the director. Oh, Kelly, the advisory council. Oh, right. Thank you. That is another important entity that works with us. They have monthly meetings to get feedback and information in the community. We have different stakeholders that are from different organizations, working with deaf, hard of hearing, those with any hearing loss, deaf, blind. We have parents of these individuals. We also have members that are of those different communities. And Kelly is the chair of the advisory council. Anybody from the advisory council? Okay. This is Michael Taylor. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm not sure if you have seen yet before this meeting, but we did send out surveys, electronic surveys that you could answer. We wanted to share the information we gathered. So about 21 surveys were gathered. But of these surveys, we wanted to get feedback about the Sanderson Center. We wanted to focus on this center. Things that so individual members of the community, the stakeholders for this center, we wanted to know how they felt about it. So we had these types of questions. The facilities. 85% said they enjoy the facilities. Unfortunately, it looks like we're missing some explanations on the other graph, other bars on the graph. So we have staff, people who also volunteer for the different events here. And we notice they're 71%, that's good as well. The fourth one right here, I don't remember what that was. Anybody help me? I think it was communication access. Oh, right. So being able to have access to communication, and it looks like we can improve. It says 66%. So as far as accommodations and access to communication, whether we have interpreters, being able to work with people with their different communication needs. We have a loop system for those with the T-coil on their either hearing aids or cochlear implants, but also another one on here is social media like Facebook, our video posts, our blogs, and those kinds of different things we post for essentially our public relations. So 76%, that's good, of those that are helping. And then other things, the event flexibility. So what we mean as well is whether or not we have a lot of events, if they're flexible as far as meeting the needs of the community. But then also, kind of interesting, the mall. Is it nice when you come here? Is the courtyard nice? I don't know, like a mall, those are the kinds of things. That is my best interpretation as far as that. I'm not sure what we're trying to get from that. Any other questions? No, we're good. So this was the first part, the things that you liked about the center. And then the second portion was, what do you think we could improve? How could we, or what kinds of things could we do better, right? So we did gather some of the responses. So So as far as events, one comment was, we'd like to know a little bit further ahead so that we could prepare for the different events or classes, workshops, those kinds of things. Just to be a little bit more prepared. So another thing that's kind of interesting, just the statement of wanting this center to stay forever. I think I agree 100%. Of course, we'd love the Sanderson Center to stay forever. One other major concern was distance, that it's hard to get here from further, distant areas. We talked about in the afternoon town hall, maybe we could have some kind of satellite offices or something, but what we can do is maybe have streaming things. But I know in the community we like to be able to socialize person to person. And so maybe we could have small groups in different locations. That's just an idea, we'll look into that. Another thing that was mentioned, kind of a concern, with the change of being the structure of our organization moving under DWS and some of the difficulties, I think there are still ways to clarify our relationship with DWS, USOR, which is the Department of Workforce Services, and the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation, and how we work with the community and those kind of things. We're still building a relationship with these agencies. Yes, there are challenges, but we are moving forward. I work closely with Sarah Brenna, and she's been awesome. She listens to our needs, and she wants to help make sure that we get the things that we need in the community. And yes, there are some growing pains. I feel like we're still making progress. We still have a lot to do, and we still will continue to move on. But as far as curiosities, with changes or improvements, and how that relationship affects us or the community, I think we just still need to have more awareness. But that's, again, another reason why we're here, is we can have these discussions and we can talk about our budget, how we can improve that, or different changes that we need to maybe update our center or make things more accessible. And of course, there are a lot of different services that DWS provides. And of course, we have ours, so as we work together, we can make that happen.
So another issue that's come to our attention is the topic of workshops, that we've had a lot of similarity in workshops. We do cooking classes, but they've all been very much the same. There was one person that wanted to do like basket weaving, and I thought, that's a good idea. So we were curious about what topics of workshops would you be interested in seeing? What classes would you want to see? Morgan and Mary Beth and I have been discussing setting up some special topics, workshops, and classes and presentations for the future. I thought there are several comments that came from parents with young children, and they're worrying about the Deaf Center welcoming them because they have children who are deaf, but they don't know how to sign. And they're worried that we will try and indoctrinate and speak against cochlear implants. And so they are worried as parents about feeling welcome here. But these children are our future. They're our future leaders, and these are our future teachers. And so we want to bring in parents and families and children, parents with children who are deaf and deaf-blind. And we want to make sure that they feel welcome here. And so we definitely need to develop more activities for deaf-blind children. And so we're making contacts and networking out in the community to see if we can bring in more families with children who are hard of hearing, children who are deaf-blind, and making it a more open environment. That's one of the things that we're thinking about. Now, this afternoon, as we look over and we make some changes to the agenda to give more of an opportunity for feedback in the audience, we're definitely going to move through and make sure that that's more available. We've got some positive feedback, people saying this place is great, it's a very friendly environment, we appreciated that. It was funny. There was somebody who wanted to teach an art class. They said, can I set up an art class for you? Thank you, that's nice, we like that too. But what we really want is for you to feel that you are involved. Like President John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. We want to know what you can do with us, working with us to make this community stronger. And as we move forward with your involvement. Now, awesome, okay. We had a little tap out and a change there, so okay. And she's a lefty, so just let you know that. So you're going to be signing from the left, okay? We've got a right-hander, and now we're bringing in the relief pitcher, who's going to be signing from the left. So there you go. So I'm going to turn time over to Sarah Brenna, who's going to talk a little bit about USOR, DWS, and the organization, the umbrella organization itself. And then I will talk about the organization and structure within within the center itself.
I will need a mic in like 2 minutes, so not yet.
You got 3.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so.
Hi, my name is Sarah Brenna. I speak.
That's
Yep.
my name. It's a lot shorter.
I'm learning sign just a little bit. But I wanted to welcome you. Townhall meeting. Look at everyone. There you go.
Okay. All right, that was painful, I'm sure. So I'm actually taking classes here from Pamela, PML. She's awesome. Is she here? She had to teach me a couple sentences last night that I could use tonight. I don't see her, but anyway, it's been a great class, and she's awesome. And so are all the other staff that work here. I mean, I've never worked with such a passionate group of people ever, and I should have said that earlier today, you guys. Everyone that works here is amazing. I'm looking forward to learning more than my fruit and vegetable. Because that's important, and I'm glad I'm learning that, but I need to get a little bit more advanced so I'll continue my lessons. So I just want to take a minute, because I'm with Dan, we want to provide more time for you to tell us about what's important to you, and we're here really to listen. But because we haven't had the chance to really talk about the overall structure and where everything fits in, we thought that might be helpful. This is really hard to see, so I'm just going to kind of point out things. So John Pierpont, he's the executive director of the Department of Workforce Services. He's my boss. He does have 2 deputies that kind of help supervise the different divisions. But John is the big boss. He makes all the decisions. And then here's the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation. As you know, we used to be under, they were under the Board of Education. I've only been here since we've been back at Workforce Services. But USOR is one of maybe 10 divisions in the department. So we are a really big department. We do a lot of different things. When I worked here before, got me back up a minute, so I used to work for the state of Utah. I worked for DWS when it was created in 1997. I'd come from the county where I worked in a job training program. And then we were assimilated, is the official word. It sounds like the Borg in Star Trek. But we were assimilated. So we have now again been assimilated, and it's been, I'm hoping it's helpful that I've worked at DWS before. Maybe not, but it is a learning experience for both organizations, and we're really committed to making it work and to supporting the Sanderson Center and the community the best we can. So I've been back with USOR for about 1.5 years now, and have been really enjoying getting to know all the programs that we offer. But, okay, sorry, now I'm back on track. So the other divisions, you've probably heard of unemployment insurance, eligibility services, that's things like eligibility for Medicaid or for food stamps, or childcare, or financial assistance. We have a lot of different job training programs, including vocational rehabilitation, which is in our division. But we do a lot of different things. We have a refugee services office where we work with refugees. Utah is actually a medium-sized state, refugee resettlement state. So there's been a lot of attention. When I supervised the refugee program before I left the U.S. the last time, there was one person assigned to refugee services. They had one staff who did everything. Now they're an office of about 25 staff. So when there is a need, and when we work together with the community and we identify needs, there's opportunities to really make things priorities within this department. We also have labor market information. We have economists on staff that work with what kind of jobs are available in the community. We have Office of Child Care. We do child care licensing. We help people find child care. We try to encourage quality child care. So there's just a lot of opportunities for us, I think, to grow and develop together and support each other, as Dan said, and collaborate. What's the sign for collaborate again? Collaborate. So, for USOR, there's me, which you probably can't read. The main divisions, we call them subdivisions, but we have 4 different subdivisions in USOR. One is DSDHH, which is amazing, and we've talked about DSDHH tonight, that's why we're here. We also have the Division of Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Dan referred to them a little bit. They have the center, the Training and Adjustment Services Center. They do a lot of training on orientation and mobility and life management skills, and we work really closely together with the deafblind community between those 2 organizations. We also have Disability Determination Services, DDS. That's actually the organization that works with Social Security to determine eligibility for Social Security benefits. They kind of keep a low profile. They're not out working in the community like these other parts of our organization. They're basically funded entirely by Social Security Administration. And they do claims, they do hearings, they determine eligibility. That's it. So anyway, they're part of our team, and we're happy to have them. And then lastly, the part of our division that's the largest is vocational rehabilitation. And they have a lot of different programs with it. I think a lot of you have heard of vocational rehabilitation. We provide training opportunities, employment opportunities for individuals with disabilities. They've been around about 100 years, that program. Interesting. They came about just after World War I, actually. I just learned that. We also, as part of that program, we do assistive technology. We have a Center for Assistive Technology that provides resources for individuals with disabilities of any kind. We can create things, we can purchase things. We work really closely with all the other divisions, and we work really closely with the independent living centers. There's also a benefit planning program that reminded me of the last time that helps individuals who are on Social Security plan what it would look like if you worked, or how that would impact your Social Security disability. We have, what am I missing over there? We have employer relations, we have business services where we work with employers to try to encourage them to hire individuals with disabilities and educate them on why that's such a great thing. What am I missing? Oh, Choose to Work. Choose to Work is another program that we have that is job development, that we work with individuals who are associated with vocational rehabilitation, or actually workforce services in general. They're specialized job developers that understand how to work with individuals with disabilities and get them placed with employers. Probably a million other things. But that's basically all of what USOR does and how DSDHH fits into that. Dan is one of my 4 directors that's on my management team. Steve, Dan, Aaron, Stacy. Oh, I have another one. I have 5. But he's one of the core people on my team, so he's considered a leader in the division, and is expected to speak for the community and understand what's going on, and always try to improve what we're doing out there. So I think that was long enough. Any questions for me before I give the mic back to Dan? I guess he doesn't need the mic. But
Any questions out there? We want to make sure everyone has an opportunity if you have a question.
So you mentioned benefits. When I ask people about benefits, they often don't know about the table program.
I don't know if I am either.
The ABLE program.
Oh, yeah, savings accounts, tax-free savings accounts.
Yeah, but it's been running since 2015, isn't that right? Has legislation passed?
Okay, here's what I know about ABLE accounts.
I believe that's for all people with a disability.
Yes, yeah. ABLE accounts were a federally funded tax credit that was approved, is similar to EITC or some of the other tax credits, except it allows you to have savings.
But isn't it like Plan 509A? Then there's a 509, 529A. Those are that's the one I'm talking about more specifically.
Well, it's a saving, it allows you to have savings that are not counted against your Social Security benefits. That's what it is. It's a national program. There are banks across.
Well, but also for those who are working.
Yes, yeah. I don't remember the exact rules. We have, in Utah, we don't have an ABLE program that is funded through a third party. There are some states that have done that have banks that offer it. There has been legislation in the past that has tried to create ABLE accounts in Utah. It did not pass. I think it was a couple of years ago that the legislature attempted.
I thought it was 2015 when they did the studies. And that's why I was asking after that, I don't know what happened. So
I don't know. There may have been some studies, but the ABLE accounts were never passed, although we are referring.
I thought we would have said that with those studies, they're still looking into it, but then there's no announcement about what has happened since.
I'm not sure.
Other states have, I think even over 30, maybe 37 states have passed ABLE, and more than half can't be front states joining.
They're a great resource and they're a really good thing. We're giving that feedback so that I'm hearing you. What you're saying is let's get ABLE accounts in Utah.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
They're a really great program and we'll try to get some information out to everybody after about what they actually are. But yeah, in Utah they haven't been fully accessible. My understanding is though if you find well, I won't go. We'll put that on our list to look at because I think it's a really great program. But we'll follow up on that.
Okay.
Any other questions? I can't remember the acronym.
If we could have people mention their names first. Some of us are new and we don't really know about it, so I'm curious, what is this ABLE?
ABLE accounts are a federal plan that allow individuals with disabilities who are also on Social Security, well, they don't have to be on Social Security. You can save money that basically does not count against any Social Security benefit you may have.
That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah, so it's a great tool, especially for young kids and kids that are transitioning out of school to be able to save money and have that as they transition to adulthood. So it is a really good program.
But also for retirement too.
Yeah, yeah, and you keep it, it's your money from there on out, and it is not taxable or counted against your benefits.
Thank you. That's good to know. Anything else? We're good? Okay, thank you.
So, no, that's good information to have for our benefit. So now let's talk about the deaf and hard of hearing service structure here, the DSDHH. So in explaining the structure, we have four different many divisions or teams that we're working with. We have Mitch Jensen, who is responsible for the interpreting programs. We have Annette, who works, well, it used to be called case management, but now it's community services. We have Grant Pemberton. I forgot him last time. Yes. I spelled his name incorrectly, so we got it now. Okay. From Southern Utah program. Yeah. You know, I'm managing both, but he's in charge of the program in Southern Utah. And then we have Morgan Smith. She is our community education programs and events coordinator. So, let's take a look at the structure itself. Now, just give you a quick overview here. Okay, so you see the 4 divisions. Then we have Jennifer, she's my assistant in support services here. And I'll let everyone explain, I'll have them seated up here with me, and I'll give each a chance to give a little explanation and answer questions and discuss specifically about the programs and services that each of these 4 prongs offer. But you can see how this is organized, the organizational structure itself. Do we have a paper that's closer? Because I can't see that from here. Now, this chart, we have a big version of it set up in several different places. There's 4 different places in the hallways that you can take a look at. You can peruse at your own leisure and be able to look more in depth at the organizational structure here. Now, we have different staff members who work in their different and respective roles. Each one of them is highly skilled and very knowledgeable. I mean, we talk about talk about their passion, but they each of them have a great deal of skill, and they all fit together and work very well. And so I just want to give them a round of applause for the great hard work they do. And it's going to be a little bit cramped. Can everybody see me here? Is that, if I'm standing down here, is that, okay, make sure that that's accessible here. Okay, can we, is the video, is the angle wide enough? So it used to be the start of the show here, okay. I'm going to step in when I need to mirror, and I'll step back out again. Again, let me impress that this is the time for questions, but you'll need to wait for the interpreter to step up to be able to mirror sign the questions. You know, and always identify who you're asking the question for. Please make it clear so that we know who the question is for. Do each of you want to do a little explanation? Who wants to start? Hello? I'm Grant, as you see on the chart there. Really, I have about 11 staff in the St. George area. About a 4-hour drive from here. Really, 3 full-time staff. And the program was just established, and when it was established, it was very small. And as that time went along, it's grown and grown and grown. And so we got about the year 2000, you know, we had a nonprofit organization that was struggling to develop, and we talked at that time with Marilyn Call and said, why don't we talk to the legislature, Dave Cook of the legislature, you know, from the area, and we worked with great number of the programs there, and were able to get legislation passed and get a block grant that we could set up a satellite in St. George for the Sanderson Center. So, I think that's a satisfactory explanation. You can ask me more in-depth questions if you want to, and I'll open myself up for mocking if needs be.
So my name is actually, question is for Grant. I missed your first name, original, so Grant. Wait, would you mind saying your name first? Oh, I guess I was out of the camera. Okay, sorry. This is a better place to stand. Anyways, nice to meet you, and if you don't mind, please saying your name before you present. Thank you.
My name is Annette Stewart. I'm the supervisor for community services here. My team is awesome, motivated, passionate. They're great in every way. Really good people. We have our work development specialist, and that's Pamela Mauer. She's awesome. I mean, everything she does. She gets people ready to work. She teaches them how to make a resume, interview skills. There's just a variety of skill sets that she can help, all the way down to finding the job itself. Also, continuing on a job, saving, preserving a job, the job retention. We have our case managers, Stephen Persinger. And he's not here right now, but he is awesome. And Laurie Monell. And what they do is fill in the gaps, anything you need. Sit down and they can find a way to support your needs, whatever you're struggling with. If it's an application to a benefit, they can figure out, if you need a letter read to you, just the basics of everything. Anything that could be for like green card work, or citizenship, that kinds of thing. Also, we have clinics that we offer where we provide working with partners such as the HEAT program that works with gas and electric companies. CHIP program for children's insurance. Oh shit. Okay. For Medicare, excuse me. Benefits in plan. We have a legal clinic that we offer monthly. We have, what's with the others? Yeah. Talked about HEAT. VITA, it's a great program. The VITA program is for deaf people, helping them and supporting them in filling out their tax forms. I mean, and at this time of the year, that's really awesome. It's the virtual, they do a virtual filing system for people in more rural areas that can't get into the center. So these clinics that we offer, they provide interpreting services at each of these clinics, so we work together in partnership. We do Social Security benefits planning as well. And we can do that in direct language without having to have an interpreter.
So, simple question. Why community service instead of community support? I wonder why the term service instead of support. One can look as helpful, and one maybe not not being equal in support. So,
It's because we do so many different things with work services and employment. And we start with these individualized services, but that's never really, that name never really worked. It works better as a community services. I guess the label, I look at it here, we're trying to support people in finding a job, we're trying to support people in filling out forms. I just was saying maybe changing the words to support instead of just community services to community support. That's all. And that's an idea, thank you. And David Sanderson? I mean, it would be more accurate, would be a community advocate services or something like that. I think that would be a more accurate name of label for what's being done. Maybe community support services as well. Okay. Wow, and it works. We could call it CAS, Community Advocate Services case. That works. Man, you took a long time. Okay, now she's wrong. My staff is actually the best. You got a boo from the others. So we have 4 hearing interpreters. Clay Anderson, thank you. Paul DeGraw, who happens to be right here. Amy, and I'm not going to spell her last name because it's just too hard to spell. And we have an available and open position right now. We have 2 CDIs. Trenton. Stephanie. Yay. And so we're excited about having those positions here. So we provide interpreting services for events like this, for vocational rehabilitation, and other similar activities. We also do certifying of interpreters. That means if a person wants to become a certified interpreter, they come first for a knowledge exam. It covers deaf culture, history, a great number of different topics. Once they have passed that portion of the exam, then they move on to the performance testing. Just to make it clear, I don't score them. I don't evaluate them or anything like that. The testing is sent out to 6 deaf raters, excuse me, 3, thank you, and 3 deaf raters and 3 certified interpreters, and they do their evaluations at home. They have no discussion one with another. They're watching these videos in isolation, then they send them back to me, and I look and make sure that all of the columns and all of the everything that needs to be filled out is filled out. And then we tally the results. People complain and say, oh, why can't I pass the test? Why can't I pass the test? But you have to remember that there are 6 different people who are reviewing this and looking at it. And, maybe they're good friends with you, or maybe not. Or, maybe somebody has skills, maybe not. But there are 6 different people. But some exciting news coming up, and maybe maybe not. We sat down and decided it was time for a new test because our whole testing structure was getting a little old. And so we're in development right now of a new test. We've already done filming, editing, and we are testing it with the new system. But the most exciting part here is that we will have a deaf interpreter test. So we will be able to cover hearing interpreters, novice, professional, and a deaf interpreting test. So we are very excited about that. My staff has just been working so very hard to complete the test. And so we can start the very first with the novice in July, and the DI and the professional will be January 2020. DI and novice will be January 2020. Oh, I see my brothers back there. Different mother, of course.
Okay. So I have hair, my brother doesn't. But anyways, there he is in the back of the room. Any questions for me? No? Okay, right here. My name is Alan. I have a question for you. As far as the DI testing, is the goal to have other states recognize this certification? So in Texas, they have their own BI, and it is recognized by others. Now, what about Utah and their test? Yeah, we have an interest in that, I guess, but as far as here in the state of Utah, we have our own test. I know there's also the RID testing, which is national. I gotta be careful what I say, right? It's politically right. But anyways, it is a national certification, and we have found recently there's been some troubles where people are saying they're not as supportive of the deaf. We are working hard to be deaf friendly. So Grant is stating that others may recognize this, but it's up to them. This is Heinrich, excuse me. DI, do you mind explaining that a little bit more? I didn't catch what that meant, DI. All right, so deaf interpreter certification for deaf individuals who are becoming interpreters and working in the community as well. Like we have right here, we have Stephanie here. Hi, thank you. Okay. Well, what is her? This is David. Okay. How many CDIs do we have in the state of Utah so far? We have 9. We have 9 right now? That is good. I can't remember exactly. It's either 8 or 9. And Grant's saying, now understandably though, this is national certified, not in the state of Utah, just to clarify. So I have another question that I want to get some explanation about. 2 different groups, right? So we have community interpreters, I understand that. Who is responsible for academia, the interpreters that work with education? So we have community interpreters, we also have educational interpreters. Yeah, we take care of that as well. We are responsible for anyone who is interpreting in this state. Whether they're certified with the national RD certification or another type of national certification is still recognized for the state of Utah. They have to be registered and recognized here in the state of Utah. So I have an interpreter in school. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. I want to make sure we have this worked out well. So a working partnership is what you're meaning, right? Yes. So this is me, I'm Stephanie. So if I could maybe have you, maybe all of you could come a little bit closer. I'm trying to step in front of you. It might be easier for me to stand behind you to do this. That's a good idea. Yeah, great idea. Does this work? Is this better? And see, my staff is smart. It's awkward trying to be down there. Great. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Over here. Hi. So I'm curious. Do you have any direct services as far as becoming a DI? How do I go through the service? Or how do I become a DI? What do I do? So if you want to take the test, you need to know more about it, I guess? Okay, yes. We will have more information we're still working on that right now, but we will be able to share more. We are developing our website that is regarding this certification testing and whatnot, so we'll be able to share that later. I was going to say, who took more time actually? He mocked me. It was him, right? He took more time than me. What? You disagree? Stop. Look at the watch, right? Time tells. Oh, another. So this will take more time for a minute. All right, if you would mind sharing your name first. Yes, my name is Sarah. I'm curious about the ICANN program, the Interpreter Certification Advancement Network program. I can't remember exactly what happened. I know there is the portion with the CDI, that was great. But right now, what are we doing for others who are interpreters that want to advance and improve their skills? Do we have any other options for them? Is that something that will happen in the future? Or is that something we're leaving for the task force of USU to take over? Because we need to have help for these interpreters. Well, I don't want you to cry, but we do not have ICANN anymore. Well, okay, but is there any replacement for that? Because I'm going to have the ICANN stuff, but what about replacing that ICANN? Well, unfortunately, I don't control the funds for that, and so we don't know. Well, I'm curious because I mentor a lot of new interpreters, and I really try to encourage them to be involved in ICANN. It was such a wonderful program, but now that there is no ICANN program, what are we going to do? How are we going to help these interpreters advance? That's something I'm just curious about. And that is something that we can discuss. We do want to have more opportunities for deaf people to become certified and be able to receive training. And so we will be working with schools like Salt Lake Community College or UVU, Utah Valley University, and also helping as far as the deaf and learning how to be a DI. My name is Mickey Enriquez. I am just curious, as far as the interpreting agencies, you recognize there are different subcategories there that are listed. So educational, medical, and the different types of fields. So do we have something like that for both the hearing, those who are able to hear and are interpreters for the deaf, and also the certified deaf interpreters? So as far as that goes, we have the court approved, but as far as mental health, medical, I think it's a goal. It's a goal to have people specialized in those fields, but really there's just court approved and not. This is Dana on Facebook, asking on Facebook, what about having to have a bachelor's or a bachelor's of science or bachelor's of arts to be in the DI? Nope, no degree is required. Okay, I guess there are no other questions. My turn? Yes, your turn. Well, that took forever for everyone else. Mine will be short. Hello, my name is Morgan Smith. And yes, that's Morgan with 2 N's. I am here as a community program manager. I'm pretty new. I joined about 6 months ago, and I love it. I am here to support our 3 individual staff members. Shelly Wyatt, who works with the hard of hearing. She is the hard of hearing specialist. She had talked about the loop system and hearing aids and that kind of thing earlier. I also know that, of course, she works with our hard of hearing population, providing workshops, presentations, hosting events, and providing support and resources for those who might be new to this situation of hearing loss and how to deal with it. She has all kinds of information about different listening devices and those kinds of things that would help them in their daily lives. Also, we work with Mary Beth, our community education and events coordinator. I thought I saw her earlier. Oh, there she is, right there. So she establishes classes, workshops, and presentations here at our center. as well, working closely with our seniors here. And also, sorry, I was distracted for a second, but she also works with our Circle of Friends group, those who are deaf or hard of hearing, have a hearing loss, but also have other disabilities as well. So she does a lot of different things for our community. And then the last member of the team, Mitch Moyers. He is right now helping with our Facebook streaming events. So he's an outreach specialist and also works with assistive technology coordinator for those kinds of services. He can go to different locations giving presentations about deaf or hard of hearing needs, accurate resources or accommodations, and supporting our community as well. He also helps with essentially information sharing. Any new technologies that are released, and maybe those who could use it, he can set up classes to teach. We have so many different resources and so many different services. Our team works so hard to help the community. Oh, and also under Mitch is Ron. Thank you, Dan, for mentioning Ron. Yeah, Ron works with Mitch as well. He is our tech guy. If we have any problems that come up, we call Ron. He's the guy. He takes care of that. I don't know, Ron, do you want to share anything more? No? Okay. He says, no, absolutely not. All right. Any questions, comments? This is Dave Sanderson. I have a question for you. Regarding Mary Beth, I've talked with her. Maybe it was just an hour ago. I spoke with her quickly. But I did notice a kind of a problem. There's so many things. Maybe she's overwhelmed with all the things that she's trying to do. But as far as workshops and presentations, we have to have maybe a specialist for things like diabetes, financial education, those kinds of different things. Maybe we can get someone who can host those kinds of workshops. And maybe that's where we need another person that could be a coordinator, shifting that responsibility to them, because it might be too much for Mary Beth. And if we have somebody else to help share that responsibility, that'd be great. Oh, do you mean you want somebody who's an expert at presenting those kinds of things? Or no, somebody who's coordinating. So hiring someone who can be a specialist as far as coordinating those kinds of things. Okay, so maybe what we want to do is have more community members who can teach these educational classes, like diabetes, financial, those kinds of things. Right, so we had just mentioned previously at our earlier town hall meeting that we want more members from the community to help with teaching these kinds of things. I think it's great. We want to hear from you. If you have any ideas of how the Deaf Center and the Sanderson Center, can help. Well, I think specifically, we need more understanding about diabetes. We really need to have more presentations, advocacy for that, and support. Well, that's great, definitely. That's something we'll work on. I'll talk with Mary Beth about that and see what we can do. And this is Liz. I noticed that with the events, it seems more focused on the senior citizens, or that, what you mentioned, the circle of friends. What about more of, not necessarily youth, but deaf and hard of hearing in general? I don't feel like there's a lot of events for them. And also parents that may have children, they need to get out of the house. Is there anything that can be offered for that? I want more events for those kinds of situations. I think the Sanderson Center it's great, it's amazing, we want to take advantage of that. And there are so many things that they can offer, but we need more. And I agree with you 100% actually. I'm still kind of new, and I do want to focus on bringing in diversity and inclusion. And so with what you have mentioned, I do think that's so important for our community members to really understand that you can always host something here. You can work with me. We can partner on different things, family events, those kinds of things, or different things we can have for the community. Just talk with me, and I'm happy to do that. We do want to bring in more diverse types of workshops and classes, not just the same old. So yeah, I agree with you. This is Ashley. As far as diversity, do you have resources for people who, not just maybe white or different races? I think we have mixed races, and I couldn't find resources to fit my needs and my race. So I wonder, are there other resources? I don't feel like, as far as people of color, or parents as well. I grew up in Alaska, I'm an Alaskan native, and my father used to explain to me these different things culturally. I see it, I understand these things. And so I felt more safe because of that. But now that I've moved here, there's a lot of things I feel like I don't quite know. Or maybe as an Asian native, what about my health, what about diabetes? That there are a high percentage of different types of things or illnesses with certain races. I think it's nice to have these different, workshops where we can learn more about that. Because I worry about my health all the time. And I also worry about finances. And we want to have more diverse workshops and things can help me and others like me. If I don't know my history, or especially with people of color, I think it's hard. No, again, I agree. Thank you. This is Ron. I'm the president of the Wasatch Golf for Deaf Club. And we have advertised that we have these monthly events. I'm just trying to get more deaf people who have skill in golfing to join with us. We're really struggling to continue. I'm trying to advertise, and what do we do? You know, is there anybody else that's interested and wants to be involved with golfing? We're really struggling and trying to advertise. It seems like our numbers are dwindling. We want more people to be involved and have a good time. So we want to increase our numbers. We really want to have that community support and exposure as well. We want people to know that we have this group for deaf individuals who want to golf. In the USA, they have the golf team. They get sponsorship and all these different things. They have their talent, they're able to use it, and they participate in different kinds of events, and they're passionate. Well, I think, again, if you work with me, maybe there's something we can set up in the summer. Maybe we can try to help promote. You were saying golf, though, right? So what is it again? Yeah, Wasatch Golf, or Golfers That Are Deaf, right? WGAD. So I think that's important. I think that's another example of we need more community members talking with us. We want you to feel empowered. And this community center is yours. That's why we of course bring what we can to the table. We want you to bring what you have as well. So about Facebook this data. I know there's not a lot of deaf people from Utah County. We need more individuals from these other areas to be involved as well and have more of this accessibility and whatnot. Like, if we have to drive, I mean, it's a far distance. What do we do about that? So we're talking about Utah County. And I agree. I think we need to host different kinds of events in the northern part of Utah, the southern part of Utah. If we have people that are living further north, I think we need to have key players that can help us establish events in northern Utah or southern Utah. Yeah, KBS, the school, I think, again, great opportunities to continue to improve relations and services too. This is David. I understand that in Springville, they have a new campus that is being built as we speak as a school for the deaf under JNS. Is that right? But that's in Springville. Maybe we can use that location. I don't know if it's done, if it's the construction is finished. Well, again, I think we have KBS, the school up north we could use, but I think you're right, we could use that as well. But again, we need partners working with me. I focus on what I can, and I think we can get help. We need help. This is Mary Beth. I'm a staff member, but I want to ask you, you mentioned having the community involved. Is it possible that these different organizations or these different members of different communities can use this building? Are there restrictions and rules about using this building? And what do you mean? Well, so I'm thinking, as an example, is what kind of a process do we have to go through for people in the community to use this building? So you're talking about organizations and whatnot? Yeah, my understanding is yes, the community can. I don't know there's any restrictions. I could look into it more later if needed. All right, thank you. But please, if you have any questions, get in touch with me. I would love to work with you and to see what we can do in the future. All right, great. Any other questions? Oh, I do have one question for you, Nikki. I have a question for you, Dan. We have different services, different programs and whatnot. But what about, the one thing I feel like that's missing the most is youth leadership. I see kids at high schools giving presentations and those kinds of things, advancing the leadership and whatnot, but what about here? What about for the deaf and hard of hearing? I mean, I think it's our responsibility to help nurture these future leaders so that they can be successful. That is perfect. I love that idea. Again, I just want to throw it out there as some feedback for you. No, that's great. I think that's an important concern. I think we want to make the effort to get in touch with organizations like USDB. They have the PIT program. I've had meetings with the superintendent, and they say that the number one concern is parents of these deaf individuals, these youth, living far away, trying to provide services and accommodations and services, including ASL. And so we have all these different program ideas, but it's also a challenge with outreach. So USDB does have events, but it does mean that our staff needs to make time to go and participate, to be able to be recognized and help with that. I used to work for USDB, and I was a basketball coach, actually. So I already do have that connection with the School for the Deaf and Blind. But I think here we have different events as well, like the youth camp, where they can have their siblings with them in this camp. And I think it's important that we partner with these different organizations. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's so many different possibilities, of course. Oh, and somebody down at the basketball camp. Right, oh, right. So the basketball camp, yes. Lance Allred, I don't know if you know who Lance Allred is. He is tall. He's basically 7 foot. He kind of signs, but he hosts this basketball camp every year for the deaf youth, or those with hearing loss. But I agree, there's more that we could do. Oh, we have other pages. Ron? Yeah, this is Ron, yeah. So I was thinking about the youth in the community. Maybe they're struggling with accessibility or transportation because, of course, it's difficult anyways, but they're also youth. One idea might be, could we use or find a way to use UTA? Can they transport here through tracks or the UTA services? I think with UTA, if we can talk with them, where we can establish a station where these youth could be picked up or dropped off. And if not, maybe there's a different way where we could essentially shuttle them from the drop-off that UTA has. Because we want them to be able to come here and feel comfortable here. We probably get benefit for the center if we can have them here. Okay, so we'll make a note of that, yes. So, like was just mentioned about being picked up or whatnot, the real underlying issue is trying to meet the state's requirements as far as security, and a certain code that has to be done as far as like also background checks before we can pick up these children or whatnot. So there's also like, what about the off season? What if during the times that they're not in school? So there's like junior jazz, there's different summer programs, different sporting programs for the youth, and whatever ages they might be, but all the way up to say junior high school. What do we do with those kinds of kids? I think it's a big problem that we're facing right now. There's kind of a lack of services for those youth in the community.
I mean, this is another leadership challenge, and make contact with the parents and saying, why should our kids be involved? They're involved in home and school and church programs. And so a lot of this is going to be communication, discussion, and outreach, making sure that the parents understand the benefit, the access that they can get here. And so this is really a development in outreach, information, getting that out in the community. And so we can be sure that we're using every avenue possible to make sure that the communication is accessible to these children and to their parents. Okay, let's go to, Ashley. So going on with that discussion, I'm wondering if with parents of deaf children being able to have them congregate here, through the Association for the Deaf, for example, You know, I am a youth, my parents are hearing, but sometimes, you know, when parents come in here with they have a child who's deaf, they feel very awkward, they're lost, communication is difficult for them. So maybe having a conference every year over a weekend specifically for parents so that they can get some understanding. No, Internet says, can I answer that? I understand that we're kind of weak in the area of family events, parents feeling a little bit lost. For example, kids who are in mainstream programs, how do we find them? That's the weakness, is figuring out. And we need ideas on how to bring them here. But like the PIP program, Rachel, you're on that council, right? No? No, I'm with PIP. This is early, no, sorry. Yeah, the early intervention program. But we've had these discussions before. This is through the state, you know, testing program that's starting development now, testing, early testing. The requirements for getting federal money, it's required to, that's what it supports, program. So having them come here and have a little more collaboration. Yes, absolutely right. Having a little more collaboration for identification of these deaf youth, and so that we can have an opportunity for them to know about our services. So maybe that's, my question isn't clear. I'm talking about providing services to the parents, not to the children themselves. I'm talking about parental services. So not related with the youth, but say here, having a program that could be providing, do you have a program providing for parents here? Yeah, this is kind of scary for hearing people thinking, oh, the Deaf Center, I don't understand sign language, and feel like they're going to be judged. So we need to figure out a way to put all of that aside, the stigma out of the way, and so that they can feel a little more, parents can, with deaf children, can feel a little more welcome to come. So yes, definitely. Okay. So that was my question I had to ask. Okay, hold on. Is there a short question? This is to you, Annette. I'm happy you brought that up about parents being a little afraid to come here. With Michelle Tanner, maybe get in contact with her and under the Department of Health and get doctors to stop looking at deafness as a limitation, something that you say to parents, they can't do this and they can't do that. To have a little more explanation of options, because they're getting their explanations from these doctors who go straight to cochlear implants. They're talking more about community in general, having the doctors back off. You know, that might be the easiest way of dealing with it. Do you have a comment on that? Talking about the PIP program, Grant says, in St. George and in southern Utah, we're lucky because, you know, we were unlucky, so we have the same resources here. So the schools, when we talk about PIP, they come to our building as a group. They're already there. So the parents feeling awkward and nervous coming in, we have an opportunity to welcome them in. Our staff has an opportunity to welcome them. And so we're starting 0 to 3. And, you know, with these parents, helping them understand our service and programs, and so we've had a lot of success. So somehow, if USDB could bring the PIP program into the center here itself, the parents as a group, having a weekly meeting for parents and such. Morgan says yes, and Hands and Voices could be involved with that. That's another program that helps inviting parents in, helping them be a little more comfortable with the Deaf Center and the resources that we provide here. Thank you, you guys. Ashley, is it Alan? Okay, I have a comment having to do with the deaf youth, but what about LGBTQ community? Does the Deaf Center have a goal of how we can be a little more inclusive about the community? Because that's a huge concern, especially here in the state of Utah this time. Morgan says, I'm happy that you brought that up, let you know. This Friday, we're going to have an ally night for the LGBTQ community. And we're inviting people in for a social event. And that's something we're collaborating with Sable Lily, Center for Abused Deaf. And we really want to figure out how to deal with that issue, to continue our services for the community. Not for LGBTQ, but for a variety of different groups, that we can be more inclusive and more friendly, make the center a more welcoming place, no matter what your identity. And identity is an important thing. And so this is all a work in progress. And this is, once again, the information we need from you as community members as to how we move forward with something like that. And we've already had like 50 RSVPs for that. And we need more. The more the merrier, please come in and join us. All right, we have a Facebook question. Dana from Facebook asking, I would like to present an idea for a goal, having more education as far as fire departments, EMTs, police, just on basic sign communication. I think that should be a goal as well. I agree, absolutely, police training is important. And to add to that, we have Trenton, who's involved with CERT training, emergency response teams, and is going all over the state, looking for fire and rescue, emergency services, leadership, and talking with them, sharing a great deal of the information we have as to how they can benefit from the center and the community. I don't know, you're interpreting, and you're going to step out of role and give a little explanation. We're in contact now with some of the fire departments, the cities and counties, their fire departments, so hopefully we'll be able to get a little more contact. We're following up on that right now. The question was more specifically about teaching sign language. And we're talking a lot more about information and how to communicate with deaf citizens, working with deaf and blind. That's another issue. I think it's a huge challenge. How they communicate with deaf blind. You know, the tactile, pro-tactile, putting the X on the back, letting someone who is deaf and blind know that there is an emergency and that they need to get out right now, and the communication and explanation can happen later. So making sure they know just a simple explanation such as that for a person who's deaf and blind. I mean, but I do like the idea of some basic education and science and resources and collaboration. That's something we can strive for. There's a big discussion of those driver's license cards, that for when a police officer comes to the door, you can have a card that says, I'm deaf and hard of hearing, and an explanation of how to communicate best, whether it's through calling an interpreter or writing notes back and forth or basic signs. There's been some discussion of that. This is David. Speaking about interpreters, you know, here we have really good services, and the programs are very accessible, and that's great. But what about outside of the community in general? If I want to go to a workshop at another place, it's always a fight to try and get an interpreter. You know, if there's a special event or something like that, being able to, you know, nonprofit organizations, something like expos, it's always a frustration because I want to go and be able to participate in this community, and getting interpreters involved, I don't even know who to coordinate with. That is a real pain. I think every deaf person will agree that that's a pain in their lives. Is it possible? I mean, it's not talking about working who's paying for interpreters, that sort of a deal, but even getting in professional services and doctor's appointments. But even the most simple everyday activities become a huge pain. Hosting stuff here at the Deaf Center is one thing, but as far as community events, being able to find a way, maybe this is outreach and support to say that you need to have interpreters there to spread that information out in the community. For deaf people to feel like they have access. Is that something we're willing to do to coordinate so that they would know that interpreters are necessary? Mitch, do you want to add anything to that? Or? I've been here 31 years, and we have struggled with that for 31 years. But I think it's a discussion that needs to happen. The way it's opening, how do we open access? for the people who are deaf to go to even just small events. You know, anything. Because they have the same access as hearing people, to be able to go and to attend, to go to these smaller workshops. But who do you even call? I think that's a service that we should look at. I mean, we have a kind of a person here who calls and says, you know, who's responsible for providing interpreters for your event, to setting something like that up, to events that are happening out in the community. I mean, is it outreach and support? I don't know. But somebody contacting the Deaf Center, yeah, you know, contacting an agency, just getting them to do it, it's really frustrating. And they say, oh, yes, you know, we'll find an interpreter for you, but maybe this community outreach should provide these services. But it's always about money. Who pays for it? It's always about money. But, you know, on my weekend, I want to go. I want to enjoy an event. And I want the interpreter to be certified, but it's just opening up opportunities. Morgan said, card access, loop access for people who are hard of hearing as well, deaf-blind access, tactile interpreting. I mean, this is a great goal. It's a great goal to be sure. Grant, an idea of how we can approach this in St. George, we have a rural community, and so sometimes, you know, when we say we need an interpreter, they say, there's deaf people here? You even know there are deaf people who lived here. So one of the approaches that we have is every month we have a mainstream program. You know, we bring people into the community and say, all right, we're going to set up an interpretive event in all of these different places so we are represented. So people have a chance to see sign language and see it before it's their turn to plan an event. And so they have the interpreters on the line. It's an advocacy tool that we use. So, you know, if something fails, it goes to the interpreter coordinator. If the interpreter coordinator can't fix it, then it comes to me, and we try and coordinate with events, but we try and bring it to them first so they're aware that they have to provide interpreters. It's a slow process, but it seems like we're having some success with the exposure, you know, and that's a weakness that we have. I mean, this is a very specific goal. There's a lot of training that needs to happen in the ADA, a lot of different explanation, there's communities, and it's a team effort. Our team, we sit there and explain this over and over and over again, but you're right, it's a good goal. It's a good goal to have. All right. Now, Pamela, did you have? Okay, what I'm thinking about is many of these suggestions that are being tossed out here in this meeting, these are fabulous. And one of the challenges is we need more staff. I mean, we are spread as thin as could be as it is. I mean, everyone here will tell you that. Sarah hears this. That we are spread as thin as possible because there are so many needs in the community, and most of us want to do much more than we're able to do. Yeah, I saw a hand over there from Stephanie. I don't know. What? Morgan, if I can add to what Pamela says, yeah, I agree with you. But we also need our community to be involved. We have to depend on your volunteering your time and giving your support and your ideas. Whatever they may be, we need you to come and invest in your community center. That's where we'll get results. We get results from the work that you provide. Okay, PML, we had one up front. Okay, so we're going to answer the question up front. Okay, your name first. Generally, I think anyone can answer, but maybe Morgan, because it's other education. For children of deaf adults, we need more activities for these codas. I mean, my children are growing up now, and they need much more exposure to work with children who have parents like them. Yes, no, I agree with you. We need more activities for codas. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Okay, Patricia? Okay, I agree with Jenna Lee. We need that. That's a great idea. But we also, does the state have the responsibility for, is it immigration? Yeah, immigration. The person, I have a person who came here in 2006 who's contacted me about the immigration, and they keep asking me questions about immigration that I don't even know their contact. They don't have any exposure, any information on that. And that says, refer them to our team. We can give some support on that. We do a lot, more and more working with immigration. Please, so absolutely, refer that person to my team. Great, I'll let that person know and then let them decide for themselves. And hopefully, you can spread the word of people who are looking for green cards and immigration services. Our services are free to them. They don't need to be afraid. This is a safe place they can come and ask their questions. Yeah, fear is there's a great deal of fear and mistrust, specifically right now, because there are so many people that are afraid that are looking at them. We partner with Catholic Community Services, and we focus on just that they have the experts. And so we can go and send interpreters with them to be able to support them in their appointments. And as far as follow-up is concerned, we can do a great deal of that work here. Okay, that's free, you know. Yeah, and we can even bring in a CDI, a hearing interpreter always. We can bring those people in to work with them. Liz had a question. Liz, hi. Okay. I've noticed as we've put all this together, we've been talking, and I've been living here about 3 years now, and I didn't know that all of these services were available. And I think there needs to be a lot more outreach in the community, because I didn't know a lot of these services. But maybe using the web, you know, the website here isn't very user-friendly. It's very difficult to find information that you need. And so maybe there's just not enough community outreach for that. So this is a lot of information, and I wish that the website was a little more user-friendly, and so we would be able to access this information more readily. I think that's very important to have a web presence that's easily accessible. Yes, thank you. We do need to make our social media a little more accessible. You know, of all the things that we need to improve, we definitely, I'm a huge believer in putting vlogs on, and so but those take time to develop, and we have to develop those over time to make sure that all of the programs have vlogs that are going out. And we need some redesign work on our website, and so there's some consistency with it. And we need to be able to find, there's some standardization that we need to, so there is some minimal flexibility we have within that, within the web design. And so we definitely need some adjustment. And we're working with the web designers to make it look nice, make it accessible, and make it compliant with DWS web design. So we have a question. David has a question for
talking about people who are dealing with immigration. Do you have a list of experts? Anyone who can assign to work with these individuals? Yeah, you're talking like the Spanish language, yes, absolutely. Her name is Marcela. She speaks fluent Spanish and signs. She's awesome. Wait, I'm saying signing. Yeah, no, she's certified. Because I was working with someone who had recently moved here from Colombia, and wife is from Venezuela. And so I will let them know about you, because again, in their situation, we want to make sure that we have services for them. Is there an interview that you work with this couple? All right, Stephanie, back to you. Stephanie, stop tapping over there. I've been waiting so long. Okay, my name is Stephanie, and my question was in regards to a topic that was mentioned a long time ago. Anyways, I think it's important to talk about these three things. So, we talked about the youth that Mickey brought up. So, Mickey, want to talk about where's Mickey? talking about the youth specifically, and I wanted to piggyback on what was mentioned earlier. As far as the ABC, the American Society for Deaf Children, if I remember, Preston was running this event, and they're like, whatever the program was exactly, I can't remember, but we'd like to have that back. We're just trying to figure out how can we make that happen. That program, we want to introduce that program to the community again. We have that. SYHO, Sign Youth Hangout, or Signing Youth Hangout. SYHO. And they got together twice a month. And it was the first and the third week. So in the first week, we talked about different issues for the youth. We gave some food and those kinds of things. We provided transportation. We did all these things in the past. But it was only for a specific age group of 12 to 18. But now I'm thinking, why don't we increase it? What about those kids that are in the transition stage? They graduated, but they still need help, right? So I wonder if we could be open to whatever age. But anyways, I thought that program was so great. Maybe we could talk to them again. How do they do this program? How did that work? But anyways, I like that program, the SYHO. The other thing was, my second thing to mention, I don't want to overwhelm everyone up there on the panel, but from what I'm seeing, a lot of comments about immigration, whatever. ABE, Adult Basic Education, is also critical. I think the reason why I want to bring that up is a good friend of mine from Minnesota, is a director of domestic violence agency, but also takes care of the situation of ABE there for education. And I think that it's such a good program, we want to try to use it here. It doesn't really fit for a lot of the programs that might be at a college or university. But if somebody's assertive and they want to learn, they don't want to have to go to college, is there something we could do here? Can we host events here for those kinds of people? I don't know about DWS and their resources, but ABE I think is very important. That was my third thing. Oh, I remember now. I was like, hold on, I'm trying to remember these three things. Okay. So thank you for reminding me. When Patricia, I'm kind of speaking to you. You got to pay attention. This is important. But in regards to immigration, you know that Sever Lilly does help with the immigration process as well. And they have people who also experience abuse. So if you have any people that you know who are afraid to come to the Sanderson Center, come to my office, or have them come to my office. And they don't have to be victims, but they can come in confidentiality. We work with people who may be on visa, maybe those who have escaped, refugees. There's a lot of a U visa where they can stay and live here in the States for a certain time. And we can help them with that. Immigration can take forever, but in these other situations where they're escaping from horrible situations, maybe the process is only 1 year. So there's other resources. We want to be advocates for that as well. So if we can work together with these people who are refugees, that's critical. Well, like I said earlier, that she's my smart aleck. Now, this is David. When you're talking about the ABE program, I think that fits well for Morgan. I think that it's something that she can be responsible for, adult basic education. So I just want to mention that. This is actually, I'm concerned about the youth again. People in their 20s. What about those in their 20s? They've graduated high school, but they failed to receive certain services. Maybe they are on a waiting list with vocational rehabilitation. Who knows what the situation might be. Maybe they are in employment, but it's not really sufficient. They're really underemployed. So what do we do with these youth? How can we help them? What was that, Trent? Move to St. George. Yeah, that's the $1 million question, honestly. I honestly don't know how to respond to that. This is Patricia. I moved here from Austin, Texas. And I'm not trying to get people to move there. In Austin, they do have a waiver. As far as like property taxes or people who have a disability. Whether it's just a hearing loss or whatever, I think that is something that they do help with. And we do have a way to help with that if you're low income. Yeah, we do here. Well, in Texas, it didn't really matter. It was just a disability. So it wasn't because you were low income. It was just whoever if you had a disability. Interesting, yeah. Don't leave. Utah's beautiful. Stay here. We need you here. Okay. Oh, we have a person from Facebook with a comment. Oh, Sari on Facebook saying, is there going to be another counselor position available? We used to have 2 counselors. Are we going to hire another counselor? Wait, ask that question again, please. Would you mind restating that? Okay, so this is Sari. In the past, we had more counselors, right? So in the past, we had 2. Now we're down to 1. Are we going to have another counselor? So in the past, the reason why we did have another counselor is in the community there was no other resource as far as assigning counselor. Now, currently, I mean, there's still not a lot, but there are those who are cropping up. There are those out there that can assign. We have case management or support, and there's no need to pay for that. In the past, we were focusing on mental health. There was nothing out there in the community. And so we realized there are more providers out there, and then with the case managers, it's like, where would they go? So we decided to strengthen our case management team, and then we sort of, I guess in a sense, kind of dropped the mental illness, but we have resources. So we do have signing counselors that we can refer to. So we may have reduced that here at our center, but we do have resources to help with those issues. Did you have a response? Just asking for clarification. So sometimes the problem is language. Some people are low language users, and some people have a very high level of language use. Is that what we're talking about? No, we're not using interpreters in these situations. No, we're talking about direct language. So we do want interpreters training in mental health, but no, we do have resources for those people. There's the 5 videos of signing on our website, or that are signing on our website. Right. So you can watch these videos and see the counselor's signing skill, and then you can choose. So we do have those videos on our website. Stephanie as well. So there is a list of services. Right, so we do have a list of those counselors, and they are signing, essentially giving you a little bit of themselves, and you can look at their skills and see who you'd rather work with. I think they can do video phone counseling too. So Grant does that. Yeah. If I have the time, you can work with Grant through the video phone. This is from Steve Snow in Iowa. And he said, this is a great town hall meeting. It's been great. Just have one question. My understanding is your program is for those who live in Utah. Are there any programs for those who live close to the border of Utah? Maybe they're just in eastern Idaho and they need services. Could you help those people just because they're just outside of the border? Can you still help them? Wow, my immediate thought is, if you're deaf, come here. You're my brothers and sisters. I don't want to feel like there's any boundaries. You know what I mean? I think as a whole, we're one community throughout the world. So as far as having a line drawn or a boundary, yes, we receive funding from the state, and that's where we do kind of have to think about what kind of services we're allowing. But boy, I would hate to say no. What a very politically accurate response. We are paid through the state of Utah, though, so right? So our services are for Utah? I don't know. Isn't that right? Right, so yeah, we get taxes in the state of Utah for the services here. And so that would be the direct answer, but still, deaf to deaf, I feel like we want to help anyone we can. Grant, you were saying if they come here, but maybe not outside of it? Well, if I'm right, I'm not sure, let me know if I'm wrong, but in St. George, we are close to the border as well. So we're close to Arizona and to Nevada. And in permissions that are provided, we have allowed for people to come and receive services, but you can't go to them. We can't cross those state lines. So that's something I'll have to look into. This is David. I think that is accurate. I think other states do the same thing. So the state can still pay for it. need to receive services. So if a person in Idaho needs services and they're right by the border, if necessary, I think that state would be able to pay for it. I think when they're just really close to the border, instead of making them have to go so much further into their own state, it's so much more expensive to do that than to just receive services that could be much closer, just the fact that they're in a different state. It seems like they can coordinate with the other states. Maybe the other state can pay for it, I don't know. Maybe that's a question for Sarah Brenna. Well, I think that's something we'll look into. But thank you, Steve. Any other questions, comments? We still have some time left, about 13 minutes. This is Daniel. I don't know if you work with national organizations often, like RID or whatever how you said it's not appropriate, or NAD. I'm not sure how you work with other national organizations. Well, I mean, I guess I can reply. NASDHH, National Association for State Administrators for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. So it's like NASA and then DHH. Anyway, so I have joined them. We have different directors throughout all these different states and trying to work together at these different levels and working with different policies and procedures, legalese, for people in different states. So I am now part of this entity. I went to a meeting last summer in Hartford, Connecticut. It was a great experience for me. Wonderful to network with these individuals. Of course, for me, I was new coming into this group, and that was a totally different thing for me on a national level. And so, I don't know, what do you guys think about as far as national organizations or any of you members in other national organizations? Cool. As far as right now, I think our struggle is with RID as far as interpreting. So we tried to reach out, we tried to have a partnership, and they have said they're not really interested in working with us. But we do work with the local entity, UTRID. But yeah, other than that, not really. I think Shelley can add to that, though.
Yeah, we work with the Hard Hearing Program, works with the Hearing Loss Association of America. We have a chapter that meets here, and we partner with them often for meetings.
Sorry, we just wondered who was speaking.
This is Shelley.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we partner with the Hearing Loss Association of America, and we have a chapter right here, and we work with them often and do things together. We're going to have a walk for hearing coming up in May, and we partnered with them last May for Bring Back Music into Your Life. It's Better Hearing and Speech Month, and we'll do something again with Better Hearing and Speech Month. So, and I know we do a lot with UAB, the Utah Association of Deaf. So yeah, we can work with
Okay. And also, if I could add, NBC, the National Deaf Centers, sharing information, providing trainings, so that can help in our community as well. So I think that's another thing, another step, to a national level. Also with UAE, Alan is the representative for them. We have Philippe, we have others as well, David, Stephen, Pamela. So we have different representation, and they work with NAD in trying to discuss national issues, topics of interest. Hello, my name is Suzanne. I am currently a USU student, and recently we had kind of an interesting experience. Someone had come to the Deaf Center to meet with the deaf, and I RSVP'd that I was going to come as well. I got approval to come, and my classmates were required to come and observe an event. And so I came as well. When I got here, I was a little disappointed to find that somebody turned me down and said that I couldn't participate. And I thought, wait a minute. So I've been coming here for all these years, many different opportunities here at the Sanderson Center. I felt insulted. I mean, it was very belittling. I felt like I participate in the community. I'm a part of the community. Not just as a USC student. I'm an interpreter. I'm certified. I've been certified for 20 years. And so I felt like, I don't know, I'm just trying to understand that. I'm hearing there's more and more talk about this issue. Some interpreters and students are now not as welcome here anymore. That's what seems to be happening. It seems like they're being shunned and can't participate or not being allowed to be involved with these social events, different activities, with different events for the deaf, being able to talk with them and get to know them. It seems like that's now something they're not allowed to do. And very strange. This is a community center, right? So for the deaf and hard of hearing, I understand that. They say that it's a center for the deaf and hard of hearing, but interpreters are part of that community, and we partner with each other. And so we're supposed to work with each other. That was the first time that it has ever happened to me. And I am really saddened by that, to see that happen. It's very shocking. So in telling my instructor, that was the first time that had ever happened to me. Ever. If I had had zero experiences in the community, if I had never been interpreting or I didn't really know the community, that would be scarring. I would not feel welcome at all in the community. And so as a person who can't hear, I RSVP'd and I was still denied. Do you see what I mean? Can you explain to me what happened? That's interesting. I'd like more details. I don't understand why. We do need to understand what happened. So if I could back up a little. Last spring, we did have a problem with some of the high school students that were coming during working hours. We had several students that were talking to staff members, asking for interviews while we're focusing on our services that we're providing to clients and consumers. So maybe there are certain hours that are not as appropriate to come in and chat with the deaf for their credits to, achieve what they need for their homework. But I do think there are events that are happening. There is the, ASL social time, different organizations. I think our primary interest is to serve the deaf and hard of hearing. So it is a space for them. Yes, ASL is the language provided here that may be different. We have these workshops, these classes regarding certain topics, and other people who can't hear, they want to come because they can sign and communicate. But sometimes we look at that as an opportunity where there's limited seats, we'll say, and the deaf want to be involved. So if it's something with the building, what's an example? If there's something where there can be that direct communication, but the classroom size is limited, so maybe seating is limited to 15 people, we want to make sure that the deaf people have that opportunity first. Because if they go to any other situation, like David was talking about, trying to find interpreters for any other class is very frustrating for them. So we try to keep in mind access for the deaf and hard of hearing first, to make sure that hearing people, those who can hear the norm, can feel respected and can be a part of and have that communication access as well. We do have these events where we are very welcoming and we want people to come in and communicate. I think it's just important that we make it clear to high school teachers that often they're sending their students here. And we need to have a better relationship with these ASL teachers, working with them to find the best situations for their students. We can have tours, but if they're organized, that's better than just random people showing up while we're trying to do work and having meetings and things like that. So maybe we can do a better job of setting up a time zone where people can get together and ask these questions. Mitch Moyers is a good contact as well, where he can go to different locations and talk about our deaf center. So I think maybe you could give me more specifics. I'd like to know what happened and how you didn't feel welcome.
No, I mean, a specific example that I can understand, because I don't know what that example was. Okay, sure. Like I said, I'm a student at USU, and one of the requirements for our coursework is that we have to go to the Deaf Center or some sort of a deaf event and socialize with people who are deaf within the community. So I found on the website, it was called Circle of Friends, and it says, everyone is welcome. I said, everyone is welcome, great. So I RSVP'd and said I was going to come, and they said, great, come, enjoy yourself. And when I arrived, they said, no, the first person that I met when I entered, I explained, I'm a student, and our SVP said I was coming, and I was getting ready to go into the event. They told me that I could come, and I thought that was fine, and I met with a person, and I don't know if it was the coordinator, or, and I asked if I could join the group, and they said, no, sorry, not at this time, you can't do it. And I mean, instantly, it was just a moment of feeling just deflated, that I felt like I wasn't welcome. No, that's new to me, and I love the explanation if they gave you as to why. Okay? I didn't understand why. They just said no. They just said no, you can't. And I mean, they said maybe, sometime later on, but they send out letters to teachers with flyers. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but I think there are a few teachers at the college level who have received information from the Deaf Center that says, no, we don't want your students to come to the Deaf Center. And I know that so where would the students go at that point to have some association? I mean, I remember 20 years ago, times were different then, but still, I thought to myself, wow, this feeling of wanting to be involved, this is supposed to be a safe environment for all, and that's what I thought it was. But that day, when I came, it didn't feel like that, it didn't feel safe. So, I came specifically as a student. And as a student, I was already feeling nervous, and then just to be turned away like that was really, emotional. That was made me feel really bad. So we can add that to the list. And Melanie, who's in charge of our events, we can talk about having hearing people involved, and as far as networking and outreach to the student populations, and discuss. This may have been a misunderstanding, I don't know, but we can talk about making sure that there is respect for all people in the communities, and maybe have some sort of visiting hours after business hours, opportunities for people to come, so that we're not interrupting the staff while they're trying to do their work. And so guided tours, things like that we can have an opportunity, so we have a more specific process. And so it's not something that's disrupting the functions of the center as a state agency. Because I know for a while there, it was turning into an everyday event that the staff couldn't get their work done because they were being disrupted by high school students coming in. And so we want to be able to make sure that people do want to visit again, and so we need to improve on that situation. Panel one. I'd like to add to this comment, the Deaf Center is not only a place where people socialize with the deaf. I mean, we have UAD events there. We have deaf coffee night, deaf night out. Who's in charge of that? Whitney's in charge of that, the deaf night out. So there are other places. So the Deaf Center isn't itself the only place where something like that could happen. And so maybe we need to advertise more on UAD and out some of the other events that are going on in the community. And thank you for your comments. Okay, it's looking like time. We're going to have one last comment here. Do you know who that group is? Can you say it again? Circle of Friends, do we know who that is? Yeah, we're going to hold that. Do we know who the Circle of Friends group is? And know what the rules are as far as that's concerned, why someone would be turned away? Yeah. We've had experience with many people, with hearing people have come. So, I can imagine saying no. We'll usually say that there's no rules that prevent hearing people from coming. So I'm going to have to follow up on that one and see if, as far as the rules are concerned, I can't imagine that communicating with this group, with the people here, You know, they have ASL classes that are being taught. They have the sewing classes that are being taught. You know, figure out where to go. Maybe there would be some situations where there would be a serious event that would occur. But as far as me, as a teacher is concerned, I don't know. Someone was asking about Circle of Friends. Does anyone want to explain a little bit more about that? Okay, so Circle of Friends, that's individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing and have an additional disability. We host different functions, right? The goal is, of course, to reduce isolation, to make sure everybody has an opportunity to get together, socialize. They do field trips and activities and workshops. So, does anyone want to add anything? You know, as people with intellectual disabilities. Okay, it is 8:30. We're respectful of everyone's time. We have been making these notes, writing them down on paper, and you can feel free to add more further comments in our comments box. You can send video blogs or private messages to the committee, to Pamela, to Morgan, Mary Beth, Sherry, Ron. Sorry. We are gathering all of that information. We're going to review all of the notes that are being taken as a team, as a staff, and figure out, using the information that you've given us, how to be better at the services we provide. All of this information you've given us helps us a great deal, and we will return that back to the community. No, wait. It's time for the raffle. So let's everybody get out your raffle tickets. All right, how many people are still awake? Let's see. It's 8:30. Past anyone's bedtime? No? We're ready? Ready for the raffle? All of you have your raffle tickets available and ready to go? Let's check it out. Okay. So we want to mention our 4 sponsors again, who've donated different gift cards. Interwest Interpreting donated some cards. ASL Communication gave us some gift cards. 5-Star Interpreting. Plus Sorensen provided the refreshments, the food, veggie tray, cheeses, plus nuggets from Chick-fil-A. How many of you like the nuggets from Chick-fil-A? There we go. I love that. Oh, Chick-fil-A. Okay. So, we have our raffle ready. I need a volunteer to come and draw these out. Who's going to volunteer to draw a ticket? Okay. We're going to draw out 3 here. Better? If I stir it, is that better? Okay. I only can pull out 1. Just the last 3 numbers, right? 208. Get out the interpreter 1. No. Cannot participate there on that one. Sorry. You can feel good about it, man. That's it. You can feel good about himself as a winner, but he can't get a prize. So, but he can have that internal sense of pride of winning. That's what he gets. 173. 173. Yay! Come on down. Okay, you got Costa Vida. A gift card to Costa Vida. Yay. And thank you. Right? Do you want a different person or are you feeling lucky? Okay, we'll have somebody else come up. Okay. Can everybody see? Come on up here. Okay, you ready? Wait. You just gotta pick one. Okay. Now, can you read the last three numbers? Right there. Do you want to do it together? 1, 9, 1. 1, 9, 1. Thank you. Here's what you do. Do you mind giving that to her? Thank you. Yay. Want a different person or the same person? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for your help. You walk down the stairs. Your mom's are okay. Oh, Flynn. Come on up. I'm not gonna bite, Flynn. Just pick one. Now, the last three numbers. Can you see the last three numbers there? From those last three numbers. I'll do it together with you. Ready? Do the numbers with me. 2, 1, 8. 2, 1, 8. 218. 218? No? That means you have to choose another number. Wait. Oh. Now let's do these numbers right here. Ready? 1, 9, 8. 1, 9, 8. 1, 9, 8. 1, 9, 8. Seriously? 1, 9, 8? We got nothing? Going, and gone. Alright, what are the numbers right there? 1, 217. 217. We have a winner. Whoop. Wrong number. Whoops. $217? No one? One, 7, 7. 177. We have a winner. 177. Let's make sure. 177. Yes. Okay. Do you mind giving that card? There you go. Thank you. You did a great job. You're the champ. You're all done. Yay. We have 3 more cards left. So who wants to volunteer? I'm hoping someone's tall so I can stand up. No, no standing up yet. Staying down on these. Okay. Alright. So you just gotta pick one here. What are your numbers? Those last 3 numbers? 2? 2? Yep. 09. 209. 209? Anyone 209? No? Great week. Somebody got it? 209? Oh, we have a winner. 209. Yay. Great. Thank you. 2 more cards. Who's going to volunteer to draw? Any volunteers? There's no volunteers. Oh. We have some. Kristen volunteered. Oh, no part. I can't kneel down like that. One, 7, 8. 1, 7, 8. Hey, there you go. One, all right. You can share with me, right? Okay, good. Last one. Really, I think the dance felt a jar here. Oh, me? Woo! I'm back in the spotlight. All right. Now, the one requirement is he has to do a dance. You're going to dance if you're going to do this. Make sure the camera's on. Make sure the camera's on for it. There you go. Dance right there. There you go. $220. 220. 220. Yeah, winner. Enjoy it. Yay, thank you, Pamela. Oh. And that is all, folks. And the roll credit.